It's the Flame Central
Yes.
podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. It's a Monday after Super Bowl.
Oh, was that yesterday? Oh, man. How much fun was that?
The Chiefs.
How much fun was that?
We're just happy for you,
Matt, take me
I'm happy
through
for you.
how many miles did you pace back and forth?
Yeah, give us a
should've
breakdown.
checked
How was it?
I should have checked and seen how many steps I took. I don't know. It was intense. It was. I have to say, the only way it could have been better, and it was great, don't get me wrong. The only way it could have been better was if Travis Kelce had caught that game-winning touchdown. So the conspiracy theorists like Emily they would have hated it that much more.
Oh,
That's the only way it could have been better. It was beautiful.
Well, they would have won the game a lot earlier if he wasn't trying to throw to Travis Kelce, who was like double.
He had Rashee Rice at the end of regulation.
Whatever.
Right.
Anyways, I knew that they were going to figure out a way to win. But why did the Niners take the ball first in overtime?
I mean, we talked about this, but I thought,
Did we talk about this?
Did
When
we
did
talk
we talk
about
about
it?
this?
You and I were talking about it,
yeah.
and I'm not against Shanahan doing that, just from the fact that I think their defense was just out there, and rest is the most important thing. The last thing you want to do is put your defense out there and then turn around, have to put them out there again. Now you get into the analytics of, you want to know what the other team's going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then Shanahan said that he wanted the third possession, right? Yeah. Like if they could feel, then it becomes sudden death, and you want the ball when it's sudden death. So, I mean, don't necessarily, I agree with it personally, just because of I want to rest my defense and have them at full strength. But I get the other side of it too. Yeah. You want to know what the other team's going to do.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Good game, though.
Great ball game. First half was awful.
First half was bad.
What's your all-time favorite, Super Bowl snack? What were you guys grabbing on?
I don't know, but I was close to a bowl of salsa and chips, and I was just nervous eating the entire second half. Oh, I'm not hungry one bit. Just can't stop.
Yeah, I may or may not have eaten my body weight in guacamole.
Yeah, the guac and taco dip. You can't beat
The guac is good. Favorite Super Bowl commercial?
I liked the Christopher Walken one. That was funny. Where everybody's doing the Christopher Walken impression.
That was
It was like, what was the Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, cowbell?
Over
A
here.
little more cowbell?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
My favorite was the Ben Affleck, the Duncan
one?
The Dunk
That
Kings.
was pretty good.
That was
the
pretty
Dunk
good.
Kings,
That
that
was
was
pretty good.
hilarious.
And at the end, she said, "Tom, you can stay."
Yeah.
J-Lo. I love it.
I like the little midget. Not midget. The little
Baby
playing
I knew you
pickleball.
liked that. That one got the pickleball text thread all fired.
That was good.
Yeah.
I think I missed that one. Probably refilling the guac. We'll talk about, speaking of football, we'll talk about some of those football additions in just a moment. But wow, what athletic director Ian McCaw said was the best environment ever at Liberty Arena.
I believe it.
Wow. The Flames are going to the NCAA tournament, and they might win it all.
What?
Wait.
What? Wow, we just
right here?
skipped a couple steps.
You know what?
You felt that way after that game,
Should
huh?
I?
You were so jacked up.
Should I start listing off all the people that were calling for Richie McKay's job now?
No, stop
Should we?
it.
Should we?
No,
Should
you know
we
why?
bring up the tweet?
You know why? Because none of them have real names. It's
I
all
know.
like
If
Flames fan 00345.
Yeah,
you know?
if you have
give me
more
a
than
break.
5 numbers in your Twitter
me
handle,
a
I'm
break.
not following you.
Give me a break. What a game.
What a game.
And not unlike the Super Bowl, ugly first half.
Very ugly.
We made one 3-pointer in the first half, 1 of 10 from 3, and you're feeling like, boy, we're fortunate to only be down 7 in this game. And then, man, second half, the offense came alive. Liberty shot 65% from the field in the second half.
Wow.
They were cooking. And it felt like almost like a tournament game, going off of what you said, in the way that Richie McKay approached it as well. Because you get back and you look at Kyle Rode, 39 minutes. Matheny, 38 minutes. Peebles, 38 minutes. Richie's just like, boys, we're just riding you hard this entire game. We need you to carry the mail here and to be out there on the court all night long. And those guys were. And, I mean, big shot after big shot. That Matheny 3 on the kick out from Cleveland.
Oh, my gosh.
How much of a
so
dog
good.
is Kaidon Matheny, though?
I love
that
his,
kid, you talk about somebody that just
his
empties
swag.
the tank
Empties tank.
every game. He's a guy you never are like, oh, I wonder how much he played. you always look at him after a game and you're like, are you going to be able, are they going to have to carry you off the court?
Yeah.
But what I like about him is that what his biggest asset to me is his speed, right? His speed, because if he's hot shooting outside, right, he's such a threat to get all, and he did it in that game where he gets all the way to the basket, like fast, and all of a sudden he's shooting a layup, an uncontested layup, right? But the thing that I was most impressed, and like you start figuring out like the culture of a team, right? Like what is this team going to be? Like we're not going to be 7 foot and huge in the post and out athletic everybody, right? But that game was the definition of this team in my mind, because it was like a really ugly, gritty, like first half wasn't going your way, and it's like, well, they could have started turning on each other. It could have gotten ugly in the locker room at halftime, and it was like, man, this is just like, you're not hitting shots. Like if we're gonna be any good, you got to hit shots, blah blah blah. And they just kept fighting, competing, grinding, and then the next thing you know, they start a little run.
Yeah.
They got
and
to
then
steal the run.
that crowd
and then the
starts
crowd
getting
starts
into
getting into it. And then the players that you count on, the guys that you're saying that are playing all those minutes, the Kyle Rhodes, the Matheny's, Peoples hits the big shot in the lane to give them the lead. And it's like all that stuff. Like the mentality of if you just grind hard enough and long enough, good things will happen. And you can't crack mentally. Yeah. And that's what that team has become. And it's fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch.
We have a lot to cover on today's show. We have a mailbag. Remember, you can be a part of the show, flamecentral@liberty.edu. We'll also speak with head baseball coach Scott Jackson.
Yeah,
Believe
really
it or
fun.
not, baseball season is starting this weekend. Going back to what you were saying about like Kaidon Matheny's speed, when there's like a cockroach in your house and you're like trying to get it and it's just like scurrying so fast all around? Like that's what he reminds me.
Your problems?
Where are you living, Emily?
He knows a good exterminator.
Central podcast powered by bug sprayers. No, that's what he reminds me of whenever he's like weaving in and out of guys so fast.
I want to give some big credit though to Kyle Rode too.
Yeah.
You're 6'7" Kyle Rode banging all night long with 6'11" Daniel Bacho.
Bacho is legit.
He's a dog. Yeah, he's a big dude. Big dude.
Oh, is it 22? The other kid's
Isaiah Crawford. He was a preseason player of the year.
That dude's got game.
Smooth. Yeah. Both those guys are
like
tough.
That's a tough basketball team. Those dudes have game.
Yeah. And then you go, like you felt like watching the game, like, they kind of neutralized Zach Cleveland a little bit compared to what we had seen from him. But then you go like down his stat line. Yeah, he only scored 7 points, but he gives you 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks.
Hey, I think Zach Cleveland's discovered something in his game. I was at the Middle Tennessee State game, and remember he just like 3 in a row. He hammered blocked, dude. He had one of the best blocks I've seen. Came from the backside and just hammered it.
Yeah, that was the one he knocked off the other player and out of bounds.
And then he had 2 more after that. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I've discovered the little block party. And then he carried it over into that game too. So Zach Cleveland, I think, is feeling a little bit that he can start blocking some shots.
Here's the one thing going forward. I think one big question you come out of these last 2 games. I think, and it's a good problem to have, but Richie McKay has a little bit of a decision to make. With as well as Brody Peebles has played in the starting role with Joseph Van Zandt being out, and as much as he's shown, I think you've got a little bit of a decision to make on how you want to play that going forward. Obviously, we love Van Zandt. He gives you that lockdown defender, and so maybe it's a matchup to match, basic thing. But like, man, big credit to Peebles the way he played. And he went for 21 on Thursday. What he ended up with 16 against La Tech on Saturday. Like stepped up.
And hit the shot.
Put it in the lead. It was so funny. Some people were sitting behind me at the game that I don't think have ever watched Liberty basketball before. And one of their first comments early in the game, and it's true, they go, I hear Brody scores, and they go, wow, I wouldn't think that kid would be that good just looking at him. And it's like, it's true. You look at him, and you're like, but then here he's just so crafty, all his little pump fakes, pivot foot, he can just get you in so many ways, and he finds a way.
What about the text that I sent you about Colin Porter?
Yes, he had a great text. I told you to tweet this. He does look like one of the kids from Stranger Things. He does look.
I've never seen it.
I've
never seen it.
I was like, he looks like somebody.
So you're talking about the lineup, starting lineup a little bit. Obviously, Van Zandt has been out with a separated shoulder.
Although you know what, I love seeing that last possession.
Oh yeah,
2.5 seconds left. Van Zandt, he's on the floor.
Yep.
It's like I'm You want him out there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh,
I'm sure he's been wanting to play.
no
you
doubt.
know, the last
He's tough.
couple
Yeah,
games.
tough kid.
I'm just being a devil's advocate.
Okay.
Like I'm not, believing one thing or the next.
You do that.
Yeah.
Would you want to see Brody in for Colin Porter and then have Vince in, or
Well,
do
it
you
does
need
give
Colin
you
Porter in
options
there to?
that Matheny can handle the ball. That
Right.
does give you options, but at the same time, Colin Porter, like his assist to turnover ratio is like top 10 in the country.
Right.
So like, that's the tough part.
His ball handling skills are there.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
you do, have a little bit of a
That's the
drop
tough
off
part.
on the defensive end,
But as you've seen, I mean, these last 2 games, going a little offense with, and I'll say this too about Brody. He's improved a lot as a defender, and Coach McKay said that after Thursday's game.
Mm-hmm.
He has improved a lot on that end of the court since his freshman year as well. So it's not like he's giving up easy buckets on that end, and you're just gonna have to live with it. He's battling there too.
What does obviously that game was huge for conference standings
Yeah.
with La Tech being the #1 team in the conference right
Yeah.
now. But what does the tournament? What's the schedule for the tournament like? Is it highest seed or is there a neutral site? Where are they?
It's all
play?
neutral site.
It's all
Huntsville,
neutral
So
Alabama.
it's all neutral site.
All neutral
I think I
site.
forgot to
Okay.
put that over.
Huntsville,
mine.
Alabama. The key is if you're the first or second seed, you play day 1. Well, I actually take that. Day 1 is 8, 9 seeds, like you're playing.
Right.
The winner of that gets the 1 seed.
Yeah.
1 and 2 play, and then they get off. The winner of those games get off the next
They
day.
get a day off.
And while the other teams all start up.
Yeah.
And then you just play it out from there. So yeah.
It's all in Huntsville.
all in Huntsville.
Huntsville, Alabama
Ma-
has the
Beautiful.
highest concentration of engineers in the
Rocket
country.
City. That's what they call it. Rocket City. Naz and I will be on the call for
Tidbit.
that through the quarters.
What?
Yeah, Naz and I are getting a call for the
It
conference.
hurt me when I
through
turned on
quarters.
the TV and you weren't on the call.
I heard me not
They
to be on
did
the
it-
call.
they did a good job,
They did.
'cause I-
That broadcaster was
Yeah,
solid.
they did good.
But man, those are the games you like. Oh, you live for that.
Oh,
games
yeah.
Like that.
Oh,
Liberty did this with 16 turnovers. So if they can take
Yeah.
better care of the basketball,
Yeah. I think that tied a season high.
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Liberty 5th now in the standings.
Fifth.
And you've split with La Tech, who's in first.
that's a
You've
split.
beaten Sam Houston, who's tied for first, and you
Wait,
get
we've
them one more
split?
time.
That
We
was the
split.
first time we saw La
No,
Tech.
we lost in overtime at their place.
Oh, that's right.
And
Almost went to overtime again.
And lost to
That's
Mexico
right.
State in overtime.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're right in the mix.
Yeah.
No, but just for confidence, like
Oh,
I thought
this
coming down
is-
the wire, I'm like, man, if they go to overtime, that just would not bode well.
Mm-hmm.
But to get that, just get over the hump and see it go through, see you get that win
What
over
a
a team
shot.
like that. Just clutch. And
What
what
a
a good
shot.
pass, heady play by Cleveland to kick it out.
Yeah. That's his favorite thing to do. We've said it on the broadcast.
He
You
said it.
heard it here first,
he
people.
He said it right here.
Okay, so next, Liberty will go on the road to Sam Houston. The good news is that isn't until Saturday.
Yeah, so you got a week off.
Little bumps and bruises. They'll have some time to, heal up this week before hitting the road, I'm sure, on Thursday, Friday, whenever that is. So hopefully they'll be able to ride this 4-game winning streak, I believe it is now. Is it a
3.
3? 3. To the ladies, real quick before we get to this conversation with Scott Jackson, Emma Hess went
Ballin'.
off.
29.
29 points, 6 threes.
Yeah.
Bella Smuda scored her 1,000th. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
1,000th.
Tell me where the
career
party's at.
point.
Smoot, there it is. Smoot, there it is.
Smuda.
Oh, Smuda, there it
A
is.
Smuda Matata. That's what Rhett McGibbon calls her. Big win for the ladies on the road at La Tech.
They're tied for 3rd now.
So now they're
in the
tied for
conference.
3rd.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they will host Sam Houston here at Liberty Arena for Senior Day on February 17th. That's Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't forget, guys, Valentine's Day is
I
on
was
Wednesday.
waiting for this.
yeah. But you said, why do you keep bringing this up? You said you don't celebrate
hate
Valentine's Day.
It is not always
Deanie
about
Yock's
me,
not
you
a
guys.
huge
I know this is really hard to believe,
No,
but it's
I
not
think
all
we
about
have-
me.
I think it's fair to
Credibility.
say we have 3 people here that really don't put a lot of stake in Valentine's. Would that be fair?
They
Xander, no.
are not
Deanie
always
Yock,
my
no.
favorite people to be around, but one of my favorite is our guest for this week's
Okay.
show, and his
Here we go.
name is head baseball coach Scott Jackson. Look at that. Baseball begins
It's
on
here.
the
Baseball
mountain.
is here.
That is why we are bringing in head baseball coach Scott Jackson. One of my favorite guys on campus. Coach, how's it going? Let's
You
not
know,
talk.
you're always telling people they're their favorite guy.
That is so not
what? So stop
true.
trying to flatter him. Like, like he's a great guy, but everybody roll on here. Your favorite guy on campus. Come on.
Absolutely not true. Absolutely.
Who's not?
Starting
Who's
next.
not?
Let's
Yeah.
who's not.
Well.
Oh, I heard you talk about Dot Richardson. I heard it.
No. Oh my gosh. Coach, welcome to the Flame Central podcast. It's powered by something else these days.
Powered by Alcova Mortgage. Come on,
not.
Emily, get on board.
How's it going, Coach?
Good. It's baseball season. You're right. No more thinking about football and ready to go. So opening up Friday. Can't wait. And it's been a great preseason for us. We've been able to stay outside. The weather's cooperated. So that keeps you going, keeps your pitching going. So we've checked a lot of boxes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about more on the baseball season in just a moment. But you're off season. You ran a marathon.
Yeah, sure did.
Where was it again?
Panama City Beach.
Okay, but I heard that it was like pouring down rain, horrible conditions.
Horrible conditions.
Through a hurricane is what I heard. You ran through
It
a
was
hurricane.
very. You could have sold it, on that for sure. But I came up with like, hey, I'm going to do this again. Convinced Dan Pruser, our trainer, to do it with me. And then I chose Panama City Beach. I could talk my wife into, hey, you want to come down here with me?
Nice
Perfect, right? We go down there and it's just raining sideways pretty much the whole weekend. And so you start off running and you're thinking, I don't know how this is going to go. And it ended up being fine because, you just got a little rain, keeps you cool. You had to take your shirt off because it kind of like weighs you down. But no issues, stayed healthy, got through it, and under 4 hours. It was good.
356.
356?
That's an average of, I think, 904.
That's correct.
We can't even get Joe to run a mile.
Hey, Coach, I ran the Holiday Lake 35-miler one time.
Did you really?
And I literally thought I was going to die.
Where's that?
That's the one up in Appomattox.
This wasn't
Holiday
his
Lake.
dreams.
No,
This
no.
was not in real life.
The Horton,
Yes,
Dr. Horton,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
I know him. He's
Dr.
legend.
When I was coaching football here, Dr. Horton used to run with him, and then I never ran further than 10 miles in my life, and he challenged me to run the Holiday 35 miles, right? I'm like, I'm not doing this thing. He's like, oh, your football guys are soft, blah, blah, blah. Gave me those. So me and Jared Everson, who was our D-line coach, right, decided we were going to run it, and we ran that bad boy. And did you say you ran one before this? Another one?
Yeah, this is my second one.
That was your second one?
Yes.
Yeah, I said never again.
Yeah.
Absolutely miserable.
It's hard to stay healthy and get all the way to race day. To me, that was the biggest part. The running I love. It's just, I'm 48. You got to deal with your body trying to get there.
Yeah, so what were some of your training days like some of your long runs?
First
I've
of
seen
all,
you run
Do you
around
run
campus.
all the mountains up in here?
we're talking about Lynchburg, Virginia. Yeah, not exactly
tough.
but you get these 18, 20-mile days in Lynchburg. But then it's some of them are cold, some of them are cool, and then you get down to Panama City Beach and it's just flat. And your pace, you can maintain your pace,
easier.
and it's easier.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it was. Those moments are just great because you wake up here, like on some of those football Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I just saved that run for like, okay, I'm going to wait until the people kind of trickle into campus. There's tailgating going on.
Yeah.
And you just, that's to me, being a college coach and being part of a campus like this. Like those runs are, you can't get them back.
That is so cool.
I did the same in Chapel Hill some training.
Nice, yeah.
That was great. You wait to game day and just kind of enjoy taking it all in. Next thing you know, you've popped off 10 or 12 miles. So.
Well, he has been saying that he's going to run a mile because initially, and don't make me bring back the tape, he said that he can run a mile in 6 minutes.
That was a
and I go, absolutely. I think he thought that it was only 2 laps.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and then he did the math and he's like, no, I need to run it
Coach,
in 8 minutes.
you know how long it took me to run that 35 miles? 6 hours and 56 minutes.
Really?
That's a long time.
Well, there's these people that do these ultra marathons and
Yes.
That's amazing.
I don't think he can run in what you paced your marathon in.
You don't think you can
A
run?
904? I don't think you can.
No.
Didn't you run? You were a runner.
She's a runner.
Yeah.
No chance. No chance. I'm going to do the mile.
No, can
The
I?
mile will happen.
Matt Warner, whenever I brought up the marathon and
mile will
everything,
happen.
I know Matt Warner's sitting there like, oh, Emily's going to tie this back to herself somehow. But then you got Joe Yock on the show, so he didn't.
Some night, either way, it
You want to
always
hear
comes
my
out
marathon story? So I ran Boston.
That's okay. How's baseball going?
I ran Boston, and when you're living and training in Boston, it's in April. So, and I'm covering the Celtics at the time, so I'm never in Boston training. When I am, it's freezing cold, feet of snow on the ground. So race day was 60. So I'm like, I just finished Heartbreak Hill, so I'm coming up on mile 24, whatever, 20, at the very end. And I see these popsicle sticks with this lemonade slushy, and I'm so thirsty. It's so hot outside. And I'm about to put it in my mouth, and some lady wipes it on her leg because it's for chafing. It's not a lemonade slushie.
Shoot, I wish you would have done that.
So that's my infamous oh, you're an idiot, Emily.
Don't you have to qualify for Boston, or did you?
This was the year after the Boston bombings.
Okay.
And the Celtics were doing something special for their Shamrock Foundation, so they allowed me to.
You're insinuating that she wouldn't have qualified.
But I wouldn't.
said she
No,
only ran
you
one,
know
and I'm
how?
like,
No,
wait a
you
minute.
know how? I think you have to run like a 3:05
What?
to qualify for my age group at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you're no
coach
spring
beat
chicken.
Coach beat me by 2 minutes.
I didn't know you worked in Boston.
Anyways, baseball season is
Baseball.
coming up. The reason why we have some home series to start is because Coach has heated clothes. He just
Yeah,
has
we
a
just found
button
that out. Yeah.
that he starts. How excited are you about this season? What is the main strength for this team going in?
Yeah, good questions. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is like the journey with this group of guys. Like I don't know what God's got for us, but Richie McKay told me something when I first got here that's always stuck with me. Get a bunch of guys you can lose with, and go to war with, and that's always just stuck with me. And man, these guys they're going to be so much fun. Just the way that they've worked, and we've got some true, I think, leaders on our team. Some older players that are mature. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to most, the travel with our guys, just the fun that
Far
goes
travel.
with that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But, still, it's just, it's such I don't want to say a grind, but it's a long season. We play 55 games, and you just want to do it with people that you enjoy being around, whether it's your staff or your players. And we've just had a blast with this group since the fall. it's been awesome.
McKay's one of my favorite guys. I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's one of your
One of your favorite, yeah. You've had a lot of staff continuity since you've been here.
Yes.
And that, total change. New pitching coach, you get Matt Williams in as a new assistant coach. What's that been like? What do those guys add now to your program?
Well, I think their families are the cool part, and I guess that's fresh on my mind because we all got together at my house, for the Super Bowl last night. So you get everybody in there. You get kids. You get kids in there. Tyler's got he's got 3 boys. Matt's got a boy and a girl. They're all under 5, and then Coach Kowalo, any minute
Any
now.
minute could be. Okay, all
The
right.
due date was the 9th. So anyway, that's just been really fun to just be around those guys and their families. Not to mention what I think they bring to our staff. Coach Robinson's got an unbelievable pedigree and just a long stretch of loyalty there, from director of baseball operations all the way up to developing pitchers at Campbell. Which was my alma mater.
Yeah.
So I tracked what he was doing there very closely, and then Matt was somebody that I had a small part in recruiting just in my 1 year as an assistant here. So you recruit him, and then I left, never had a chance to coach him, but followed him very closely in his career because you knew he was going to be a really good player, and then to bring him and Delisa back it's been really cool.
I know him. We did a story with him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Highly regarded scout with the Twins.
Yes.
Very well thought of in that industry. What is someone coming from that world? Maybe do they see the game differently? Do they give you kind of something that maybe a guy that's just been coaching doesn't do? What's different about coming from that background?
Well, I think the big thing is evaluating players, and Matt just does an unbelievable job with player evaluation. The one thing that you don't get, I think, in college versus the pro game is time to make that evaluation, right? Mm-hmm. So you can go in several times in the spring. I saw Matt Warner. I saw him start early in February. I'm going to keep going back in, and watching that guy.
Yeah.
But in college,
He's
gritty.
in college, sometimes you might get one look, and that's hard because there's a time crunch with, hey, come watch this kid pitch or come watch this kid play, and he's got other offers, and so I think that's probably the biggest difference. But at the end of the day, baseball's baseball, and you strip it all down. And he played all the way up to AAA, like 3 full seasons in AAA. We have I have a very good friend, or he has a very good friend that's a common, friend of ours, and Mike Schilt is the manager of the Padres.
I covered him when he was at AA with the Cardinals.
Yep. Yeah. So you start to look at baseball people and how this all works in our game, and it was a no-brainer. I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Coach, I thought of this yesterday. Coaching question, or just coaches in general, right? When you look at coaching, and let's say you have a pie chart, right?
Yep.
If you had to break it down, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but if you had to break it down, how the importance percentage-wise between the type of scheme you have, the type of players you have, your preparation in the game, and then the player's passion to play the game. If you had to take that, where would you sort of put that pecking order of things?
Well, I would put players at the front, right? Because I mean, you're not going to win. They're the heart and soul of every good program. It just starts and ends with the players. So I would put the players.
Would you say that's like 50% of it, 70%? Like how obviously the players are it, but like how much of that do you put on that?
I mean, it's got to be over 50, right?
Over 50.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And with that comes now, just the character and the makeup of those players, which is going to in turn start to kind of define the culture of your program. I can say what I feel like I want. Hey guys, this is what our standards are, and these are what our pillars are. But at the end of the day, they have to uphold that in the locker room. So you got to have talent. Then you've got to have the character and the makeup with those guys. And then I think that filters, down to everything else. I would say really, scheme, if you will, football or basketball. It's a little different, I think, with baseball. I would say like style of play, like how we want to play, what fits our ballpark, what's conducive to winning from our formula. So I would say that, players, then, style of play, and then, the preparation part. I'm big on that, just not just for your opponent, but just to get yourself ready to play on a regular basis is something I think that kids have to learn to do.
How hard is the preparation? Baseball is a different sport because you play so many games. Like how difficult it is from that preparation standpoint to keep an 18 to 21-year-old kid locked in for an entire season.
Especially when they're not like getting opportunities every single game and they might get.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, we've got a 40-man roster limit. I'm a proponent of, maybe the 35 just for the reason that you're talking about. I think if you have 35 players and everybody feels closer to contributing or feels closer to, hey, I know exactly what my role is, it's easy to keep those guys engaged. The toughest part for us is this Conference USA, go back to the same as the ACC, it's a 27-man travel party. So we've got 38 on our roster right now. So that's 11 players that aren't going to be able to go on some of the weekend trips with us. And that's frustrating. For me, I mean, it's just, it's just hard for the team to be gone, and we leave on Thursday and we don't come back till Sunday night, and then maybe we take Monday off, and so you haven't really been engaged with our team. So that's a challenge for those guys to be able to keep it going while we're on the road and still lift and still get their work in. And so yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
I feel like each year every team is so different. You guys fell in the ASUN semifinal last year. What did that team teach you as a coach?
Oh my goodness. We don't have enough time for last year's team. No, everybody says you learn more in the bad years than you do in the good years.
There are lessons in losing, Coach. I say this every single week.
Yeah, and
she tends to lose a lot.
It's so easy to talk about it, and it's so easy to say, yeah, man, you're right, And then you go through it, and I learned more in that one season, I think, than I did. And I think the part that I don't want to say I enjoyed, but I think the part that I came out on the other side feeling like I'm glad that happened was just the self-evaluation that came after the season with our staff, with myself, with just how, okay, I don't want to go through this again. What's it going to look like, on the other side? And so that was something that I'm thankful for.
There are blessings and brokenness.
Oh, yeah, she's got a lot of good cliches.
Come to me if you hit rock bottom.
Coach Austin.
Yeah, right. Coach, some new faces on this team as well that are going to be contributing. I'll let you touch on a few that we should expect to see early on, but I want to start. Aiden Sweat
I
coming
know,
from
he
UNF.
looks so
This kid,
exciting.
you have a type, coach. And I feel like Aiden Sweat is your type.
Yep.
Like just
So
pest,
true.
gritty.
Yep.
Like I remember seeing him, the past couple of years, and you're just like, oh man, like we got to try to get this guy out again. Like that's what I remember about him at UNF. How important is he going to be to what you guys are doing? Who are some other new guys we should know about?
Well, Aiden's wonderful. When we saw that name go in the transfer portal, it was like I would not. Well, if we were going to get him, and then UCF got involved, and I'm like, oh gosh, does he? He's from Fernandina Beach down there, and
Does he like to be frozen when he's playing baseball?
We told him it wasn't that bad here. And
That's good.
You gave him one of those heated suits that you got.
Yeah.
And just in case it is, we've got heaters in the dugout, but you're not going to notice it anyway because you're going to be playing every day. And no. But he has really gotten in here, and the way he works, and he's just a baseball rat, and he's just fun, and he's a leader, and he's been wonderful for Tanner Marsh as a freshman in the middle of the field, and the way he communicates, and it's just that dynamic's been really cool. Noah Rabon is kind of cut from the same cloth. He came from USC Upstate. He's going to be our left fielder. Okay. Just a great kid. We've got some on the pitching side that you guys will get to know that I'm excited about. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just that group that you stir it all up with some of this young talent. McCadden Dye is going to catch for us as a freshman.
Wow.
So we'll start the season with a freshman at short and a freshman behind the plate. Wow. So it'll all fall out or it'll be all But we did it with Locklear, and there's we had Jacob Stallings when I was at North Carolina that was a freshman back there who's with the Rockies now. So some of those years you just have to do it. You got to let them go, let them grow, and there's going to be some moments, but we feel really good about the talent, and it just bodes well for us to get those kids out there every day.
Coach, I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one guy that you could put the dog shock collar on, right, and just
for
Can
people that don't know,
I need to rip this. I need to rip this from Yacht Talk's social media, where he put on, for those of you that didn't know,
I got double dog dare.
Get it, dog dare.
Yeah.
He put on a dog shock collar.
Yeah.
He gave his son the remote. That was the worst part of that idea.
I gave my son.
Was your whole family?
It was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving dinner. It was right after Thanksgiving dinner.
Like a new
And you're
tradition.
standing up, and I'm never laughed at. I haven't laughed that hard. You got to find it.
I mean,
It's pretty good.
Everybody
pretty good.
started out and they said at the shot nobody would grab it, and then they're like, okay, I'll grab it. And I'm like,
Escalated.
okay, and then they're like, we'll put it around your neck, and you're not tough enough to put it around your neck. Oh, I'll show you how tough I am. So I put the thing around my neck and gave me a little juice, and a little more juice. I'm like, this thing's starting to hurt a little bit, and then he cranked it up full tilt.
Oh, no.
And just let me have it. And then I took it, and then I was trying to take it off, and he was letting me have it while I was trying to take it off. And it was awful.
Yeah.
So I need one guy that I can, from your baseball team, somebody tough, who's tough enough to put the dog shock. But tell him how much you like that video.
Well, no. First of all, when you're sitting there, I think I might have been hunting when I first came across it. So you watch. I was. And you watch the video.
Silent?
I can't turn up the sound and I'm like, there's no way Joe's. Oh my gosh, he's getting shot by this thing, and could not wait. And then you add the sound to it with him going, But I mean, you'd like to think they're all tough enough to do it.
They're not.
I would have to go with Noah Rabon, our left fielder.
You actually answered it.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Come on, Noah.
I mean, he's
Oh my gosh.
he's got.
That's got to be an NCAA violation.
This needs to be a new Flame Central segment.
Yeah.
Noah's got.
Book him next podcast.
Should I say that dog?
That
in
dog.
it?
dog.
Yeah. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, we haven't done this in a while, so can you look at your camera and say wait, I actually have one more question. Matt Warner might not like it because he's like a huge Swiftie now, and it's so obnoxious.
He's got a T-shirt and everything.
Yeah.
What? But it's
Nope.
No. Let Coach say something. Let Coach say.
Don't get me started on my conspiracy.
Oh, you have it. But let's just.
say that.
People are mad that CBS is showing Taylor Swift
You just won the Super Bowl,
let
and
him
your
talk.
second shot by your director is Taylor
All right,
Swift's
let him talk.
reaction.
Of course.
Can I see?
We want to see it. Go, Coach.
First of all, Taylor Swift, I think, is a wonderful person.
Iconic superstar. Most famous person in the world right now.
I'll bring up some stuff on her videos.
But like, she can't go watch her boyfriend play football.
Thank you.
I just don't need to see it every other shot.
Thank you. That's not true.
I don't need to see it. Like, that's the second. Andy Reid, we don't get his reaction. We get Taylor Swift's reaction before Andy Reid.
You got plenty.
Okay, my question to you is if one of your players did what Travis Kelce did to Andy Reid during the game, what would you do?
Well, remember, Coach, it's like Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift's in the stands, seeing your reaction.
Baseball's a little different vibe too. Like in the, you
I
don't
don't
get
care.
as much of the like. I
You're
don't
not
know.
playing in the
We
second
have a
half.
tunnel that goes from the clubhouse,
True,
from the
it goes to
stadium
the
to the.
tunnel. Yeah.
So we have the luxury of maybe me and that guy going underneath the tunnel and getting away from the camera that you just can't do in the NFL. But I do understand that there's emotion that comes with the game. You know, it's part of it. And
I would never push my coach.
let's just say when I was a player, maybe I struggled with controlling my emotions a little bit.
Totally
So
relate.
Matt Warner
I can
throws
totally
his.
relate.
It's awful.
This is all recorded.
He has anger issues.
with the Chiefs or just in general.
No.
Yeah, life.
No,
He's
this
no,
is
not
with
life. That's not
pickleball.
fair.
Yeah, don't. That's
It's
not
pickleball
fair.
pal.
That's not fair.
Pickleball paddle.
Yeah.
Listen, in the heat of competition,
In the heat of competition, he is.
I can go places that I'm not proud of. Yeah.
No, me too.
Yeah.
Coach,
I
he
can go
almost
places I'm not.
killed my partner. When I'm talking about, he almost
With his
killed him.
racket?
That,
Yes.
Now, to be fair, I wasn't throwing it at him.
Yeah.
I was just throwing it.
He
and
got
it kind
caught
of
in the
caught a
crossbar.
draft.
Got a draft.
It hooked.
It hooked. And
It was
went
almost really
right
bad.
by
I
his
don't know
face.
much about pickleball, but I know that there's like
It's a
really
violent
expensive pickleball paddles.
Not that I break too many, so I
You
can't
just
do
need
the
to know
expensive
that, and
ones.
that women aren't allowed in the JPL.
Yeah.
Coach,
Right
thank
there.
you so much for your time. If you want to say Flame Central Podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage. The Alcova Mortgage is in the back if you.
I just passed by Alcova Mortgage. Lyndhurst.
Yeah.
That's the subject right now.
That camera is it on?
That's it right there.
It's on.
Yep.
Okay. Flame Central Podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Bam!
Good. That's
Nailed
it.
it, Coach.
Coach, can't wait for this weekend.
Coach, I
Kick
thought
it
you
off.
were on
Hey,
my
let's go get
side
it.
and with this, but
Let's go get it, Coach.
Let's
go.
With what? Taylor Swift?
no, I'm not gonna go on. I
No,
thought we were on. I thought you were on my side. You know how many games I took this year for baseball? I'm gonna need a little more movement in that field for me to stay entertained.
Well, what? I don't. It bothers me. I guess I think people get upset about it, and they shouldn't.
Right.
We're happy for Taylor. We're happy for Travis.
I'm
Just
surprised
two
that they
young
didn't
people
propose to each
together.
other.
Young
their
people
lives.
falling in love.
Right.
We're happy for Brittany. We're happy for
sure.
Patrick. We're happy for Andy, and we're happy for Doris, or
I
whatever
do
his wife's
love
name
some
is.
Andy Reid. All right, Coach. Thanks. I'm excited about baseball season. Excited about this new team.
Go
Thanks
Flames.
for stopping by.
Yeah.
Go Flames.
We'll get
Go
the dog
it.
shot collar
Stay warm.
out
Stay
on the
warm.
diamond soon.
All right.
Scott Jackson. We didn't get to do it this year, but he's a big hunter. So next year, I think we're going to go out of the office with him, get a little GoPro action, see if we can, you know,
Are you
get
going to
some.
show a live kill?
Yeah. You know what?
No.
We've done multiple. Yeah,
you
well,
doing?
sure we will. Like hunting shows do it. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, we've gone
Thank you.
on multiple hunts in the past. We've gone with Kerry Green before.
Yeah.
With Aaron Schreiner, the Liberty basketball
Oh,
trainer,
yeah,
one time.
that's right.
I feel like we've done a couple others. We've never actually gotten anything.
It's a
even
Flame
a shot.
Central.
Then why don't you
I
do
think-
one on Joe Yock, and you'll get a live kill.
Well, maybe you bring Scott Jackson.
I'll bring Scott with
Or
me.
You
bring
provide
bring
the-
your son's puppy. That looks like Stan.
Yeah, we'll go on a duck hunt.
There you go.
Yeah, and we'll bring Scott, and then we'll bring Merle and Merle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh
good.
my gosh, Merle's so cute.
Merle, how cute is Merle?
Oh my gosh, he is. If you have some extra time in your hand, go to
Just
Ben
adorable.
Yock, Jauch.
Yeah.
His dog, he looks exactly like Stanley. I think that's why I love him so much. But
I don't see it.
Stan would like be actually eating the duck because he's so fat.
Merle's a good boy.
Merle is such a good boy. He is so crispy and
Little
cute.
bit of trouble.
Okay, so I'm excited about baseball season. Are you
Yeah.
in the call for that first series this
Yep,
weekend?
yep.
Okay, so that'll be.
Matt, will you let me come sit in the booth with you like
Sure.
you did that one time?
You know who loves? You know who loves to sit in the booth?
Who?
Richie
Merle?
McKay.
Oh.
Does he? I'll sit up there, Richie. Me and
Richie will
will hang
sneak
out.
up because he just sit up. He'll just sit up there in the booth
Yeah,
for
that's
a
what
few
I do.
innings. He doesn't want to, don't want the attention. He just likes to sit up there, watch. He just loves baseball.
Yeah.
He's Scotter tight.
Coach McKay and Coach Jackson, they're BFFs.
They're good.
maybe.
Yeah,
They
good
are.
buddies. Yeah.
Yeah, good
people.
buddies. All right, let's transition to the gridiron. Last week, Liberty Football announced a lot of new additions for their transfers to the 2024 football signing class. Spring ball actually started on Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So they do things a little bit earlier to, deal with injuries, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. We'll have some reports on that coming your way in the next couple weeks. But when you look at this signing class, what's your initial reaction? Do you think that they filled some much needed holes, I guess you can say,
I don't know
in the
about
roster?
for you, Joe. Obviously, you want to get deeper at receiver. But for me, the biggest improvement or area of need was linebacker. And I feel like they addressed that. The Taylor Jackson kid from East Carolina, I think he had close to 50 tackles last year. You get another linebacker that had been at Coastal Carolina, Jamar Brown. Didn't do a lot this past year, but this staff knows him well. You also get a kid, Aiden Vaughn, who redshirted last year at Wisconsin. So interested to see what he can bring. But that's an area we've talked about. I mean, heck, even this past year, as good as Tyron Dupree was, like,
You need depth there.
you need depth there.
Yeah,
Joe
you need
Carter,
depth
was,
there.
he had a solid year, but you need a lot more depth there. I think this definitely provides that.
Yeah, I thought getting the Ryan Berger kid,
Yeah,
the
from App
quarterback,
State.
like
From
he's
App
got
State,
3 years eligibility left, and he was their starter. I mean, when they started the season, I think it was on the third drive, he had a season-ending injury, but I mean, he won the job at App State, and they put out some good quarterbacks. So I think when you talk to the coaching staff, like that guy is a good football player. The other guy that I really liked a lot, and he reminds the fans to know, is the Dante Shaw kid, the receiver. He when you watch him on film, very CJ Daniels like. So
Really?
I mean, with CJ leaving, like looking to replace him with that style of player, he just has that raw, long, athletic ability. And you get these kids that may be a little bit of late bloomer, came in and
Dante Lee, 6'3", 175.
Yeah, like you put some weight on him. You get Chad Scott, put him in the weight room. He's got the height, but he's an
Power
athletic
5 offers,
and
too.
he can run. Yeah, I mean, like he can run. So like he is reminds me a lot of CJ Daniels.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to probably be, as we look forward, the story next year's. You don't have CJ, but the depth at receiver you have, it's going to be a lot more by committee.
Spread it out.
Yeah.
Also, the kicking position
Three
is
kicker/punters.
is open.
Good.
So
You want competition there.
You need the competition, and going back to quarterback, how much does it help having guys? It's Berger, right?
Yeah.
Berger, and you have Jaden Bradford also coming in
Jaden
early
Bradley
from IMG. So I feel like he is a little bit more Kaidon Salter like. I haven't seen this Berger play on film, but what can that do for Salter? Because obviously it's his job, right? Sure. But what can that do in terms of having that competition behind him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to have competition, obviously, but like you have to understand, in football especially, is look what happened to Caden Wake Forest when Coach Freeze was here. He comes back, gets in. You're one play away. So I mean that is in this offense especially, not any offense, but especially the quarterback position is so huge. So having high quality depth behind there,
The guy that's actually
extremely
played.
important. Yes, and the guys that play. That's correct. Yeah. No doubt.
Got a good D lineman from LCA too.
Yeah.
Right. So that
local kid.
Local. We gotta love the local guys.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? We have a mailbag coming your way.
One mailbag.
Mailbag.
Yeah, one mailbag question for us, and this actually came right after last week. It was after the UTEP basketball game. This is from Doug. He says after watching, not our Doug.
Not our Doug.
I don't think. After watching the UTEP announcers butcher Matheny's name for the entire first half,
What do they call him?
I wonder, they kept calling him Metheny. Remember that?
Yeah.
He goes, I wonder, what do you guys do to avoid that same mistake?
Meth heading.
Yeah. What do you
So we
do?
go to shoot around.
Right.
Almost
There's a number of things you can do.
Well,
it's really there's no excuse.
Matt does a good job of this, but
Matt does
I
a
still
really
find a
good
way to
job of
butcher last names.
It happens.
Abdur Rahim, remember what did I used to call him?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But we'll go to shoot around and we'll ask the SID or the head coach or whoever.
Sometimes
on
we'll go to
staff.
the broadcaster that's there.
You always have the guy come up in the booth before
Well,
Sometimes
in
the
your
SID.
game- in your game
There's
notes,
pronunciation guides.
there's a pronunciation
I'll
guide.
even like to watch a previous game, like during the week, with
you
the
hear-
home announcers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the pronunciation guys, the way they write it out, you're like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So like, how do they say? How do the guys that know say it? And then you copy that.
Walk, yuck.
And then you get, yeah. Then you get some who was it? Oh, like FIU, wasn't it? It was like Kravakopich and guys like that, where it's like, you know the right
He liked the way I
things
said
to
it.
say, but it's like, where's the emphasis hitting? And you like, you know, you got some
when
tough stuff.
I said it, I have that like deep, was it Polish?
Yeah.
Was
Polish,
and he was like, "Wow, you sound exactly like him." I'm like, "Thank you."
He said, you sound like my mom.
He's like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. Hey, a guy who has just been all around the world, Kieran Vincent. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But if you are moving all around or moving anywhere, I have the guy for you.
Look at that.
Yak Talk, baby.
Thank you. Alcova Mortgage. Now, we're getting Friends of Liberty program.
Yes.
Friends of Liberty. We have a great partnership with Liberty University to offer a lender credit towards closing costs. This is real money. Go to alcova.com/Liberty. Interest rates are potentially here. Could be dropping, could turn into a refinance market. Spring purchase market is upon us. So we're starting to do a lot of these things. So they're great, and they will just put money back in your pocket and support your local business here in the home buying process.
Yeah, and it's not just here; it's anywhere, people.
Yeah, we can go. We close them in North Carolina. We close them all over the place.
So Kieran Vincent, obviously on the LIV tour, didn't have a great. So LIV 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds are the best 3. There's a team of 4. The best 3 golfers get their round or their points towards the team total, and then the third and final round. All 4 golfers. Did I do a terrible job of explaining that? All 4 golfers have that towards their point total. Well, Kieran, his first 2 rounds didn't count. His final round, he was 4 over. But we have a great conversation with him.
Great kid.
Is it coming up?
Yeah.
Yep, it's coming up this week. What God has been doing in his life has been amazing, and how he got on this spot on the LIV tour is like really, really cool story. So be sure you check that out.
Yeah.
And what else you got?
Well, before we go, I don't know. I mean, we haven't spent enough time on the Super Bowl, but I do want to just bring up one thing. And Joe can relate to this. When
Where's
you're,
he going with
but
that?
it's all about me all the time.
Let him go.
When you're like Joe and I, and you're just, really incredible dads, you're always looking for ways to pour into your children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're always looking for any way you can take something that happens and turn it into a life lesson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So after the game last night, we're sitting there, Chiefs win. Of course, we're all happy. It's
Your
late.
kids, more
it's up.
kids are not
They're
used to it.
up late for that. And, you say, pull Jack in.
Pull Jack.
A little 10-year-old
Huge
Jack.
fan of Jack.
Say, Jack.
I'm a huge
Jack
fan.
attack.
Just say, Jack, you just saw this game. And I said, this is just proof that if you're dedicated, if you work hard enough,
persevere.
if you put in the time and you just grind it out,
persevere.
that you too can date the most famous woman in the world. Don't let it hold. Don't let the haters hold you back.
Don't let the haters hold you back.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
But you got to put in the work.
But you got to
put in the work. It's kind of like remember the old Brett Musburger thing in the Alabama championship game?
Yes, when he said about the quarterback from Alabama.
Yeah, where they showed his girlfriend and he said, every young man in Alabama is out throwing the ball around the yard with their dad now, isn't he? That's A.J. McCarron. That was it.
A.J. McCarron,
Same thing.
Yeah.
But you got to put in the work.
Just like
It
Dustin
doesn't.
Johnson.
It doesn't happen by
Just like
accident.
Dustin
It doesn't
Johnson.
happen by
Thank you.
accident.
Yeah.
Right. You got to put in the work.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
I hope for all you
Jack
young
is still
for all you young athletes out there, I hope that's something you can really take to
Jack's
heart.
still trying to make his Lynchburg basketball team.
Yeah, right.
I'm kidding. He's on it. I think he hit a couple game winners.
You don't know what you're talking about.
So dumb. Anything else you got, Joe?
What
I
else
think
we
that
got?
such a great podcast. I think we're good.
covered a lot.
We do have a couple of stories coming your way. Vincent brothers,
Yeah,
McKay
Vincent.
family. Some stuff to look out for on that. Until next time,
That's it.
Valentine's Day, pickup lines
Celebrate
and all
with someone
that.
you love.
Celebrate with someone you love.
For
Someone
Joe
special.
and Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.